SmackDown took place last night. I apologize for my late review, but I finally have it up. We started the show off with Roman Reigns having his crowning as the Tribal Chief after the show, the Clash of Champions show, when he basically killed his cousin Jey Uso. And they point out that Reigns is now the Tribal Chief of the WWE Universe. He even mentions Peter Maivia, Alpha, Reigns, his father, Sika. Reigns grabbed the mic from Heyman. He doesn't want to be acknowledged Tribal Chief because Jey Uso didn't. He wants Uso to acknowledge it first, so he called the Uso to the ring. Jey comes out, he makes his way to the ring. He points out he never gave up, and if his brother Jimmy never threw in the towel, he'd be the champ. Reigns asked Uso if he's proud of what he did. He said Clash of Champions was the worst night of his life professionally and personally. Reigns didn't want to do what he did. He just wanted to help Uso get to the main event and get a huge payday. Reigns has known Uso since day one, and all he wanted was to help him. He just wanted Uso to acknowledge him as a Tribal Chief. Reigns was born to be the Tribal Chief. He told Uso how he was embarrassed, that he embarrassed the family and broke his heart. Uso looked down the belt at Reigns' shoulder. Reigns pointed out that Uso was still looking at the belt. He offered Uso another shot at Hell in a Cell. However, there's more stakes this time. It's the highest consequence. Reigns walked off. Uso didn't back down and promised to defeat Reigns. Colin Graves referenced what stakes he was referencing. And I guess now it's official. The match takes place in the Hell in a Cell. So we have a Hell in a Cell match. It's official. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. So I think for sure getting Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell. I think that's a lock. I think you get Reigns and Jey Uso. I don't think you're going to get Bayley and Sasha then. But we'll see what happens. AJ comes out. He confronts Uso in the ring. He thinks someone should give him. He should get the next shot. Styles continue to mock him, and they have a match. Good matchup here. If Jey Uso's getting the title, he needs a big win. And I guess beating AJ's alright, because, I don't think AJ loses much from it. It was a solid matchup. They went back and forth a while. It was good. Jey tries to get the win. AJ is still in the match. What happens is Uso cuts him off when AJ went for the phenomenal form. He hit him with a super kick and hit the splash for the win, so Uso gets it. They recapped the triple threat ladder match. They showed Sami Zayn winning the match backstage. He had both belts, both belts, and he notes that everyone expects him to gloat. He was upset at management, and he blames the fans. Sucks. I hate him. Wish he'd be released. Otis beat John Morrison. Very average matchup here. Miz and Tucker not allowed at ringside. Otis just crushed him. Man, Morrison, they did nothing for him since he's come back. They show Sasha Banks in the back, which was interesting. We saw Sasha there. They briefly, Cole and Graves briefly discussed an NXT TakeOver this Sunday. Sheamus beat Shorty G. I think they showed Big E mocking the draft. This was okay. Sheamus gets the win here. They do the KO show. This is a good segment because of Kevin Owens. And of course, his guest is the one and only Alexa Bliss. Alexa comes out. She looks very cute tonight. She always does, but I liked her tonight especially. She looks very cute. She's basically, she's there. He interviews her, and he basically says he doesn't need, he doesn't understand what's taking over her, and something seems different, and she used to be happy and smiley all the time, except she used to be a heel. She isn't the happy girl that Owens met 5 years ago. Well, 5 years ago she was a heel, wasn't she? Anyway, she's similar to his rival on Raw, Aleister Black. Bliss noted people could change and asked if Owens wants to change. She said this isn't about him, it's about Bliss changing in the darkness that's taking over her. Owens thinks he can understand what's taking over Bliss, and then she talks about what she gets from the Fiend. She gets the chill feeling he gives her. Owens thinks the Fiend brainwashed her. Owens knows the Fiend is here. Bliss said let him in. Owens jumped to his feet as the lights went out. The Fiend appeared in the ring, and Owens has the mandible claw. Alexa Bliss and the Fiend stared at each other, and she finally stood up from her chair, and he took her hand. They hold hands, and that's how the segment ended. So she's certainly along with the Fiend now. Matt Riddle, Gordon Moxley, Lindsay Dorado defeat King Corbin, Cesaro, Nakamura. Didn't care about this match. Really, it was alright. It went on for too long. It was like they're trying to kill time. After the match, they had Lindsay Dorado and Kalisto argue. I wish they'd stop it. They recap Bayley and Sasha being shooed in the back. Carmella finally reveals herself as the mysterious blonde woman from the last few weeks. She isn't playing by rules anymore and isn't your princess. She's untouchable unless she wants to be. Next, we get a Sasha Banks promo. Sasha is furious and notes Bayley should have known that she didn't need medical clearance to attack her. She points out that she helped Bayley keep that title for nearly a year, and she knows that Bayley isn't in the arena because she's scared of her. She challenges her to a SmackDown Women's title match and promises to win the title next week. She takes off her neck brace to end the promo, and that was a good promo by Sasha Banks. So you get Bayley Sasha next week. Something's going to happen. I hope they don't do it. I don't want to see... I really wish this would go to WrestleMania. I think Bayley has to hurt Sasha yet again. She has to crush her a second time, so then Sasha makes her big miraculous return at the Royal Rumble. Because, man, I feel like they should have saved this for longer. I don't know. I was kind of angry that they brought her back so quick, but we'll see. I want to see this at WrestleMania. You had Sami Zayn and Jeff Hardy in the main event. Sami Zayn retains the title. This is a nothing match to me. I really did not care about this. I don't like either guy. I like Jeff. I like Jeff, but I hate Sami. Basically, Hardy crashes into the crawl turnbuckle and Sami Zayn crawls over him for the win. Next week, you have the draft begins Friday night. Kevin Owens goes one-on-one with The Fiend. Bayley defends against Sasha Banks, which could be interesting because maybe one of them's going to leave. Maybe that's it. Maybe, oh, fuck, I hope that's not true, but could be that's it. The feud's over. Maybe one of them's going to get drafted, I think. I think it's going to be Sasha, to be honest. And maybe she wins the Rumble, then comes back and challenges Bayley. Maybe that's how they do it. Big E takes on Sheamus, so that'll be the end of that feud. And no pinfalls count anywhere. So, wow. We'll see what happens on the draft. So I guess Raw is regular, and the draft is SmackDown. I think Bayley or Sasha is going to get drafted. I think it's going to be Sasha. And I think AJ is going to leave because I think he needed to lose to Uso because I think AJ is going back to Raw. So I think AJ goes to Raw, even though he was on Raw and he had to go to SmackDown because of Heyman. AJ, I think, leaves. I think AJ. We'll see. We'll see who we get drafted to Raw. I think they could put... Maybe, I don't know who they put on Raw to SmackDown. I don't think it'll be Drew. There could be guys. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but the draft is next week.